Alright, so talk to me. What we Hey, I was watching what's his name again? Poet the Halfcast podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
With Chucky and that. Hey, them man that episode on what's the name? On Megan, yeah? And the whole that Megan and Prince Harry thing was funny. The man how could Chucky say, yeah? Chucky was like raw. Chucky was like, if Harry had got his spiritual enlightenment, if he had got it like when he was 19,
Yeah.
that basically he would have married someone like Spice.
Oh my god. As in the rapper.
Right, yeah, the dancehall artist, Spice. I was just like, raw, like, how could man say that? Oh,
No, because
I
he
was
used to be
crying.
bad though. He did. He was about. The only thing I think, one of the things that frustrated me in watching it was when I heard Harry say he was unaware of unconscious bias. I thought, okay. At that point, my ears started to close up because I was like, I don't know if I can accept that. I understand where he's coming from in the sense of his walk of life. It's not maybe not be in your face as much, but with like, let's say the fact that they go and they do like a lot of charity work and they go do visits and all of that stuff. So I'm like, within doing that, at no point it didn't ever dawn on you that people are treated differently. Do you get what I mean?
See, yeah, this is the thing, because I'll let you finish. I'll let you land.
Because I feel like unconscious bias falls into things like discrimination and all of those matters there. So if you're working with all these poorer countries or you're working alongside the countries that you deem as less fortunate than you, in terms of the Commonwealth, like they go around to like the poorer sides, right? So if you're doing all this charity work, how did it never sort of kind of come home to you that this is something that people experience in real life? And then I guess as well, it just makes me think about how superficial the tours are, or they must be.
Yeah, because I swear they went to school in Jamaica.
I don't even know.
I swear, you know what? I know back in the days.
Shall I check?
Yeah, check that actually, because I don't want them to run me. You know, no one's there for them. These people are running people nowadays on social media for fact checks, but we want to make sure we keep things factual. But obviously, I feel like they, like you said, yeah, you're in these so-called third world countries and poorer countries, and you're doing charity and that, and you're seeing people that are lesser, or you believe that are lesser than you in terms of wealth and whatnot. So
Berkshire.
what does it say?
Berkshire.
They went to school
There
in
was
Berkshire.
definitely in the UK, yeah.
So they didn't go to no private school abroad and whatnot.
I don't think they did. I know William definitely went to uni in the UK.
But for me, overall, that this is the problem, right? So I didn't watch the interview, but I watched the highlights. Yeah. Cool, innit? You know, I'm not really too fond of. I didn't even know there was an interview going on until I see it trending online. So then when I'm seeing the stuff that Megan's saying, so even like when you're talking about the unconscious bias, and I'm seeing her say things like, "Oh, they told me that he's not going to get security. He's never going to be a prince," and you know, they were discussing the color of his skin. I don't know. For me, I didn't react to it the way that other people reacted to it. Like, oh my god, that's so horrible. Now, before I say what I'm saying, let me just make this clear. I haven't got no issues with Meghan Markle. I haven't got no issues. To be honest, I don't really care about their lifestyle like that.
Yeah.
In a sense, not in a rude way, but in a way of just saying, you know, that's them, they're doing what they're doing. When I saw the whole relationship thing happening, I was thinking, wow, like, you know, an American girl going for, but I thought, you know what, he's a prince in her eyes, she's probably just falling for the lights. Cool, innit? Like, you know. But my thing is this, yeah, you can't tell me as Meghan Markle you haven't had those conversations yourself with other people in your friendship groups or in your family. You can't tell me you haven't come across that. Not to say that you was the person in the conversation going at the people about but you know, like how, for example, like you're with your brethren, it's like like, oh, what, he's dark skin, you're light skin, you know, how's the baby gonna come
colorism.
out?
Yeah.
Colorism is a big thing in America as well. Now, for me, for you to sit there and say that, I get it from a perspective of, obviously, you know, you're right as a Duchess of Sussex or whatever. Sussex, isn't it?
Yeah.
See how I'm educated I am when it
You're more
comes.
educated than me. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I'm thinking to myself, right, like, cool. You know, I get it, but you're not walking into an ordinary European or white family. You're walking into the monarchy. Like, this is probably the most powerful royal family on the planet at the moment. If we're talking about, you know, status, money, and wealth, you know, your husband's grandmother's head is on the currency of the most on the paper of the most strongest currency in the world. So you're not walking into any family. You got to do your research. And the last time you came in, or someone like you came in, that person died, and they were white.
But the thing is, I guess, thinking about American culture, they are very different in a sense. They don't have like that establishment in America. There's no royal family there. And then I also think, because it was one of the things she pointed out where she says, in America everyone's famous, you see celebrities all over. So even the fact that she felt like courtesying would be something that you do if when you're in public, she didn't realise that in meeting her in person when
Prince
there's no
Harry,
cameras. Yeah, but I think, do you know what it is? It's the relevance of the royal family here is not the relevance of the royal family abroad. It's just nice to look at them and think about them.
But when you chat to Americans, what is the first thing Americans tell you when it comes to I mean, now they probably changed, but 10 years ago, you go America, oh, wow, do y'all sip tea?
Yeah.
Right. They always associate us with the Queen.
Yeah, tea and the Queen.
So she's acting like she grew up on Sentinel Island. You know what's there?
Yeah,
she
but
had
I
no
guess
TV
she's visited Buckingham Palace though as well, because remember there was that childhood photo of her. But even in saying that, I think in terms of understanding the dynamics, because from the outside you can have your perspective, and she obviously thought it would be different going in. So that I'll give her. But one of the things that I laughed about is I was like, if, for example, he was with like an African girl, right? Who was like, let's say from back home, whatever. That stuff is normal. You kneel down when you come in and you greet someone's parent, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think it's just that idea of tradition. Americans don't completely lack it, but they lack it. There's not that... you don't find much tradition there unless somebody's first generation.
100%.
And I think that's also part of maybe why I can easily believe that to her, she was genuinely
Yeah, but you're going with the Prince of England.
But he's a prince here, he ain't a prince there.
No, but, you know, Britain has got that. All right, cool. America could be... I always tell people, America's the pit bull, Britain's the dog owner. So, regardless of what was going on, we all know that Britain has got a certain amount of control when it comes to the United Nations or the United States or G7 and whatnot. She can't tell me, that she missed the entire background check and just saw Harry and thought, oh, he looks nice. You knew my man was a prince.
But then I guess if you relate it to things like Saudi princes, you've got people from Dubai going into America and bury them as princes, and they've got loads of money. And I guess it's different in the sense that there's only two relevant princes in the UK, right? So Harry and William. But again, on that factor, if you're thinking about what America is like, and if you're growing up in a place where this institution doesn't exist in your day-to-day...
I don't know, man. I don't
know. I think I feel like that I could give her. Like, I could definitely give her that.
If you know Donald Trump, if you know Michael Jackson, if you know about Bruce Lee, all right, cool. Michael Jackson and Donald Trump, they're American, whatever. If you know about Bruce Lee, if you know about the Queen of England, whenever we think of the royal family, like, there's no way she could have not forgot that. Now, I'm not even dissing her, cool. You wanted to go over Prince, that's fine. But you see what? It's a conversation I had with my virgin yesterday, and I was telling her that, look, like, at the end of the day, if I went into, let's say I went into a Chinese family, that was, higher up in business or whatever, or part of the Chinese royal clan or whatever, and that happened to me, I'll be getting, people be brushing me, what did you expect? You went into da-da-da-da-da. What, do you think you can go there with your twist and that, and then they're going to accept you?
But I think that's where maybe she's getting a lack of sympathy from British people. Because I feel like black people are feeling sorry for her because there is that racial thing behind it. And I feel like that's why people are concerned. And then she's got the mental health, which is valid. Do you get what I mean? And
so mental health? What,
so she wanted to commit, at one point she wanted to commit suicide.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And she said she tried to reach out for help and she wasn't getting that. And obviously, I guess as well, there was that thing of, they weren't being sympathetic to the fact that this is very alien to her. And that's why I say, I think that's the one thing that I can give her the majority of what she's saying. Not give her, but in a sense of I can accept it. Like, I don't feel any resistance against it. Because she's coming from a completely different place. So it's not... I wouldn't expect her to. And obviously, I think she didn't get that sympathy. And she didn't get... Not sympathy, but she didn't even get the support or empathy that she was asking for or needed outside of Harry himself. And so...
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. I don't...
Alright, you're Meghan Markle, yeah?
Mm.
You come back to your mum. Or, I don't know, on a Tuesday night.
Mm.
Mum, I was at this event. And I met this guy. And... Yeah, oh, okay, what's his name? Oh, it's Harry, Prince Harry. Your mum's gonna be like, who? Prince Harry? Hold on. Prince Harry? The thing of England? But you're gonna know. You can't... And that's, you see where I'm coming from. So that's what I'm trying to say is that, I get where you're coming from in terms of, obviously, yeah, Americans, unfortunately, to some degree, not all, they are a bit kind of naive and dumb in certain ways, but we're not dealing with like a celebrity of a certain type, like a Bollywood or Nollywood celebrity or someone outside of Prince Harry. Like, he's not even a celebrity. This guy is a royal figure. So essentially, you've definitely seen him on TV. You definitely know about his grandmother, and you definitely know about, it's like me going in to join the police force and then getting racial slurs and abuse. People would tell me, well, what do you expect? You're going to work for Babylon or whatever. That's what's going to happen. So for me, like, I'm not even trying to go at her hard, but I'm just looking at the sense of like, we as I wouldn't even say it's a black thing, although it's based around race, but let's just stick with the race with black people, especially black girls, yeah, and black men. We need to stop looking at the idea of trying to change something that really and truly is beyond us. Like, it's an ego that you have within yourself. That's one thing I learned recently. You may see someone and you may see, raw, they've got potential, or, I could work with them, or I could pattern with them, and you know what, he'll be a good dad, or he'll be... But they're not using it. They're not using it. Now, with her and Harry's relationship, that's cool, innit? They can have their separate relationship, and you know what, I hope it does work out for them. But in terms of the family, when Harry was saying things like, which kind of didn't shock me, but shocked me, was the whole fact of him saying, you know what, I feel trapped. Like, me and my family are trapped. And he's very, very specific when he said me and my family. He's talking about his brother and his dad.
Yeah.
He didn't mention, the funny man uncle, Prince Andrew, or, all the rest of the, like, the Duke of Edinburgh, whatever. He said his family. So he was like, you don't understand, obviously, we're trapped, and my father's accepted it and just sort of gone with what he's gone with. But then, I could understand that part. But then at the same time, I was thinking, when you say they're trapped, what do you mean? So it's kind of like, you know what? I was watching, Instagram is crazy right now, yeah? I was watching Christopher Savage do a video on the scene of Harry walking out, and there's this African woman next to him, and she's talking to him, and he's like, who let Aunt Folenke walk with Harry? So walk with Prince William, and it just looks like a whole photo op, innit?
Yeah.
But the thing is that she turned round. I mean, I think one of the reporters turned around and asked William, like, have you spoken to Harry?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but I will be. You know what I'm saying? I will be, like. And it's like, it was funny because for me, they've effed up big time. Now, because Meghan said what she said, and you guys' response has been terrible, you're just proving the point again of obviously how racist the establishment is. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. But I think as well, when thinking about that whole institution that they speak of, I feel as though a part of them remaining royal, just thinking about, let's say in other countries, like I thought back in my country, royalty stepped down, Parliament has a strong hand. Do you get what I mean? We've got a Parliament and royalty in this country. If they became too accessible to people or seemed too accessible, because it's all about the perspective, right? You have the respect because people give it to you, not because you're demanding it in any way, shape, nor form. Parliament really handles most of the things. Yes, the Queen may sign off, but Parliament is dictating and making decisions for the country, right? So if they were to become too accessible, they will fizzle out very easily in the same way which other royal families have done in other countries. Do you
Mm.
get what I mean? Where you will have some people who do respect them and some people who could care less. They're just kind of a novelty.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And so I feel like that's that
Like an
institution.
ex-president or something.
Yeah, and I think that institution's managed by people who want to keep it the way that it is. So, you know, it's kind of like when people say when someone's reputation precedes them. So it's like comedians, how they'll always complain. It's a funny analogy, but yeah, comedians will always say, like, people always expect you to be funny when they meet you.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this is what I do as a job. Yes, I may be funny in my work, but I don't want to make jokes all the time.
All the time, yeah.
So I feel like in this situation, when I was hearing him say they're trapped, I saw it in that same way. Do you get what I mean? You're the royal family, so you must behave in this way. You can't do these things. Even with Meghan saying, what was it? She didn't see. That was the last time when she checked in. She saw her passport, her driver's license, and things of that nature. Because the expectation is you're not going to be driving yourself anywhere. You're going to be taken care of. Everything's going to be run by us.
Yeah.
So it's quite controlling in that sense. And if you're born into it and you're trying to honour your family and your family's reputation, and you don't want to let down your legacy, then I guess you fall into the trap that Harry's talking about with trying to keep it up in regards to Charles and William.
Yeah,
More William, I think I see than Charles. I don't really know too much about Charles.
No, what you're saying is true. Yeah, in that sense, I agree because obviously, you know, it's hard because it's like we're not trying to judge her and her intent, and it's mad how the media has it's not even mad, but again, the media focusing the limelight on her.
Yeah.
Like, this whole thing, I just think is a big distraction, and we're going to get onto that in a minute. I do think there's a lot more going on. Like Prince Andrew, it just shows you. I always tell people actions speak louder than words. It just shows you. Prince Andrew's thing got, exposed for a minute, but even when that interview came out with Prince Andrew, do you remember it was the whole Megxit sort of campaign? It was the whole Meghan this, Meghan that, and I feel like Harry, because obviously people are saying, wow, everyone's getting onto Meghan. And I was like, cool. With Harry now, I don't think people are like, oh, Harry's innocent, and like, there's still the British people here. So the British people here, they're just pissed because for them, they hate to see, and I may not be speaking for the whole of Britain or for any British people at all in that sense of me representing them, but I'm talking about in terms of like the negative response, the racial comments you're getting. They're just pissed because what you finally see now is somebody in that family actually take a stand and is supported by someone that's not of them. Do you see what I'm coming from? It's all that Game of Thrones right now. It's all mad. So it's like, what's there?
Yeah.
Like, so, you've got the whole, Meghan's coming, but then at the same time, Harry's the one that decided to leave, and he's the one that also said, look, like, because apparently when he left and he went to Canada, they stripped them of their security, and apparently Tyler Perry
Housed them,
which I'm going to get to in a minute, because even that as well, that's a bit like you've housed them so quickly. You've gone and just housed and helped. I don't know how cool he is and close with Prince Harry. I never know that he were friends.
I don't even think the connection is Prince Harry. I think it's more Meghan.
More Meghan. Oh, okay, cool. So
because even Harry referred to staying in other people's houses, and I feel like that's a bit distant to somebody that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
You know?
But I feel like even with that, it's like cool. When we're dealing with the story and obviously what we're seeing with the whole racism and that going on, like I just don't get the shock from black people. I don't get it because it hasn't changed. And looking at Meghan, like I do feel that with some black people, especially black women, it's like they feel like, oh, she was like something that we wanted to be represented by. She was like the one that we looked up to. Oh my God, like we finally got somebody in that. Like, why would you care? Why would you care to have
black women?
Well, from what I've been seeing,
she is representation of a black woman in the
she
thing.
is. But
however, I don't know about anyone losing sleep. I never lost sleep over the royal family.
This is the thing. When I'm speaking to most, when I'm like, alright, put it this way, yeah. So when the wedding was going on, peak.
Yeah.
Everybody was watching it. Oh my God, look at her, and oh my God, they're so.
I think I was in Ibiza. I wasn't watching.
I might have been sleeping. You know what's the thing? Like, I might have been sleeping. I was like,
no, but I remember it being put on the TV. It was either there or Germany, one or the other. But I remember
what year did they get married? 2019, isn't it?
I just remember being abroad and in the hotel, and one of my friends, trying to put it on the TV to watch it.
I don't even
Yeah.
like for me, and I remember even seeing it, and I said to myself, "This is who they do this for. These are you guys that are distracted, that you lot are infatuated by what's going on and whatnot with them two, or looking at Megan as to say, you know, oh my God, like I'm so happy that we finally got a black woman inside the royal family. The royal family is not going to change."
But you know what though? She did say that that day was specifically a public day. Her and Harry got married 3 days before.
Oh right, okay.
But she said they got married 3 days before in their back garden, because she was like, they wanted their own day. She was like, we knew that was just something that was for the public. It wasn't for us. It was for everybody else. So so their actual official wedding day is 3 days prior to that, which they did. They said they did. She just called the Archbishop and got married in the back garden.
Yeah, because it's like, for me, I just saw that. I just said to myself, you know, now the distraction part for me, you know, what I want to get onto is like, I feel like, why do we care? Why do we care so much to look at Megan's situation when Megan's situation on an average person level is happening every day? Every day a black woman's going into a family or a workplace or somewhere where there's predominantly a racist society or racist infrastructure, and she's getting treated the same way.
Yeah. Do you know why it's a big thing though, I think, when it comes to the royal family, and why they're like heavily, like I think I saw something on the way here, it was something about Prince William saying like they're definitely not a racist family. Racism and colorism, you know, they're like, to me, they're siblings.
The direct brother and sister.
Yeah, so it's like, I think their protection over saying it is that they can't be seen as a racist family, because you've got how many black people that are in your country, firstly, and then secondly, you're part of the Commonwealth, right? How many black countries are part of the Commonwealth? That could start to cause real issues for them, and that's where the defence comes in to say, no, we're not. And that's not me saying they are, but just in a sense of why it would be a problem and why it would matter if they were ever seen in that light.
I don't think it will. I swear to you, they could turn around and say, we hate niggers. Yeah? They can literally, Harry can come out, William come out and say, I don't actually like black people, and I'm glad that bitch is left. The Commonwealth countries will still stand by them. You know why? Because they already knew. You have to remember, we're not Commonwealth by choice.
Yeah.
Do you see how I'm coming from? We're not Commonwealth by choice. We're Commonwealth by force. So them now showing their true character, it's like you watching, I don't know, like an angry mother or you know, a toxic father put on a face or put on a poker face in the job interview, or put on a poker face inside a space where she can't be like that. Like she's in a shopping centre or she's at the doctor's. And then she goes home and she starts getting mad, and you're like, raw, like, you can't be shocked, because you're like, yeah, that's mum.
But you know what?
That's where I'm coming from, like.
The bigger issue with the royal family, I don't even think the issue is whether or not they're racist, because I think it's something we've spoken about before as well, in terms about how much impact individuals have. Like, individuals do have an impact in the sense of the dealings of day to day and who everyone's encountering. However, the problem is the institutional being the way that it is being racist, and that's where the issue lies, because that's the only place that change can really kind of, I guess, be made impactful on everything else. Even down to things like, I think I questioned about the fact that how can you deny black history being taught when you claim to teach black history, but all you do is teach the slave trade. You're not even teaching the real history about how black people were in this country or incorporated into the country, and that was denied. And then I think there was supposed to be some debate. I haven't heard much about it. I saw there being talks of there being a debate about why it was denied.
Right.
And then I haven't heard anything of it since. I tried to look for it. I haven't seen it since. But I feel like that's where the bigger issue lays. So it's like, whether or not the royal family choose to be racist within their homes, the problem lays within the institution itself.
Right, and they're the heads of that institution. And this is what I was trying to explain to one of my friends yesterday, was that I was saying to her, like, raw, like, you know, I'm not even focused more or less on Meghan and Harry, because to them, I've seen that I've seen the Meghan and Harry in my ends. I've got friends that are in a Meghan and Harry situation where they've gone into a family, or they're together as a couple. They've gone into a family, and either one side don't like them, or there's some little funniness going on, or it's their environment. So it could be their work friends. It could be, you know, people inside their area. that don't agree with their relationship. My thing is that we got to look at the family and not be shocked. Like when I see Oprah, like they were speaking about the skin color. I'm like, we do that as black people. Let's keep it 100. Like me being dark skinned, getting with a light skinned woman, yeah. I could be in the hairdressers, and a woman might be like, "Right, the child's gonna come out dark, or the child's gonna come out blick." Like we do this already, so.
I don't know. Do you know what it is? Yeah, that conversation is the dumbest shit ever. Sorry,
It's just,
no, I didn't mean to swear, but it's the dumbest thing ever in a sense where, like, what I can't for the life of me get my head around is that do people not understand how biology in that sense works, right? So even if the two parents present whichever way they do, that kid can look like anybody in your whole ancestral line.
Yes.
So to me, it's such a purposeless conversation. Like I remember my sister my cousin having a baby, and someone saying, "Oh, they're gonna be so beautiful," after seeing a picture of the dad, and she was like, well, "What do you mean by that?" Do you know what I mean? The dad was of a lighter complexion, and she was like, "Well, what do you mean? Why did you say that?" Like, and people are uncomfortable with answering those questions, but. To me, I feel like the issue is black people love to abuse each other. Okay, let me take that statement back. Not all black people, but the black people I'm talking about are the black people that like to abuse each other in those ways, who keep perpetuating colorism and then getting mad when other people do it. And to me, the problem is that you do it and you make it acceptable within your own race, and therefore it is going to continue happening outside of your race. It doesn't make it okay for either or.
Yeah.
And I can speak like that because I'm not one of those people. I'm not a colourist person.
Yeah.
So. And I think it's something I've always been aware of because it's always been something that was mentioned. Like I remember growing up and people being like, "Oh, like you're the lightest out of your sisters," and my sister would be like, "Oh, you're the lighter one," but why is that even relevant? What does that mean? We eat, we breathe, we sleep the same. Like, what difference does this actually make to my life? And I do understand the context of the impact that colorism has in the world outside in terms of who society may deem as more acceptable than not. But I think the issue lays in the consistent perpetuation of it, especially within the black community, because I feel like that's where it has the most damaging effect for a lot of people. You know?
No, you're right. And I feel like even with what you're saying right now as well, it's this accountability of us as the individuals that have to look at. Like you said, you're not a colourist. I'm not a colourist either. I mean, I was on the short end where, it was like, "Rah, you're dark, like you're proper dark," and it got to a stage where I kind of accepted it. Now, obviously, I love myself, so I'm proud. One's there, like, I'm happy. But at the same time, I do sit there and think to myself, why are we still shocked? And then I sit there and I think, we're not shocked. Really and truly, we just don't care. We love entertainment. So we would love this Meghan and Harry story. We love it. We love it. We love it more than Piers loved Meghan. You know what's there? Like, and even with that, even with Piers, when I see... Hey, you know what? For me, that reminds me of, you're in primary school or you're in secondary school and it's Valentine's Day, and it's like you've got your card patterned for this girl, like you're ready, and then the guy that's on the football team or the bad boy comes and just takes your girl. And the girl that you've been chatting to, you've been doing her homework, you've been helping her with that, she's gone. What's that?
I can't understand for the life of me. But he calls it a friendship though. That's why in my head I'm like, if they were friends, then it's not that deep.
Like if you think about it, and you know what it is? It's the way he describes it. If I was his wife must be pissed right now. She must be pissed because it's like you're disrespecting the thing. You're storming off your job on national TV. All right, cool. You're going to use that as an excuse because apparently I know he was getting fired because he had about a certain amount of complaints already. Before. They said Ofcom had 41,000 complaints for this Meghan situation.
Yeah.
But he had 41,000 complaints from not the Brexit stuff. What was it again? He
Not the nurses or immigrants.
No, not the immigration. It was the transgender stuff as well. Yeah, he had complaints from that as well. Like,
but do you know it was apparently Meghan... Okay, so I watched Wendy Williams. So Meghan Markle apparently called up herself directly and said she had a problem. And she was saying to him, "I don't have an issue. It's not the race. I don't have any issue around... I'm not making it about the race, but what my issue lays around is his insensitivity to mental health because of the fact that he dismissed her and was like, she didn't have mental health needs, she wasn't suicidal. How can you speak for somebody else? Regardless of how you know that person to be, I think everybody knows and can agree, you can't
Yeah,
determine
yeah,
somebody's mental state of mind regardless of how they're appearing. And so she pushed on that forefront in the fact that he was very insensitive to it and the fact that it is an issue in terms of people's understanding or lack of understanding of mental health. And
he's just, for my man to get upset like that and storm off, I'm like,
that was
blood.
his facial expressions for me.
He definitely
Literally his face.
I was crying. And then when he went, you know that the clip that's trending now of him talking about her back in the days, and he's like, oh, you know what? I sent her home in an Uber, and that Uber went to the event where she met Prince Harry, and I never saw her after that again. I was crying. I was like...
He just needs to let it go. Like, it's not, to me, it's not that deep. And he said it hurt because he liked her so much. But to me, if you liked her so much, let her go live her life, wish her well.
Yeah,
be done with
but
it. Like,
why can't you still not be her friend?
No, I think she don't talk to him.
Right. Why don't she talk to him? Because... Did you see how my man's carrying on now?
Because nobody knows what their situation was like. He might have liked her, she might have thought you said a few ignorant... Like, I think... Most people, I don't even think you have to be black to relate to this in terms of, I think everybody has experienced a situation where you sit there and somebody's saying some really wild statements and you're taking it in and you're like, I don't even care to challenge you because you're very ignorant, but I'm just not going to chat to you. I'm just going to distance myself. So that could have very easily been a scenario.
That's true, yeah. Or, yeah, it's true.
If you think about the outrageous statements he makes, unless you're his friend and you want to just go back and forth with him in a debate, if that's someone that she was thinking or considering of dating, you treat them two situations very differently.
Yeah, he's he's just an idiot, man. Before I used to root for him because I used to see him do, I used to see him go hard. Hey, the way he's gone on so hard on Matt Hancock, it's like every time I see Matt Hancock on Good Morning Britain, it's like their hairline has just receded even more, and like Piers is hitting him up. I'm like, yes, Piers, get in. But then with this situation, he cancelled himself.